Hello, dear friends. If so much money is being invested in artificial intelligence, why isn't the same amount being invested in natural intelligence? Opinion piece. Bright future. Transparent system. A white storm is coming. What's coming is biblical. Meekness is not submission. Sudden change arrives without warning. Let's start. A new transparent financial system is on the horizon, according to Julie Donuts. There is no official report confirming this. There is no single place to verify it. It is the culmination of years of strategic moves. Some say this will never happen. Others don't see it coming yet. You won't see any of this in the mainstream media. Julie Donuts announces the arrival of a new transparent financial system based on a honest currency backed by assets that no one else will be able to print out of thin air. With this system, offshore accounts, money laundering, and hidden assets will disappear. This will never be called a reset, but rather a liquidity optimization, currency flow stabilization, or monetary rebalancing, but the effect is the same. It also indicates that income tax, property tax, excessive regulations, perpetual wars, intermediaries, and central banks will disappear. The new system is described as honest money for sovereign nations, with a level playing field eliminating the old God system. What's coming is biblical. Reset news. Satan's little season ends in 2026, according to Ben Wehrman. Wherever you see God, it is a person, place, or thing that God has touched and in which He is present, according to Poet Talk. The storm is already here, and it is about to reach Category 3. The whiteout will arrive in the next 30 days, according to Juan Osavin. A whiteout is a sudden and violent blizzard associated with strong winds and white waves, without the typical dark clouds of a storm. It symbolizes an abrupt change that arrives without warning. The new financial system is the gateway to secure, blockchain-based elections, according to Ross. No more rigged machines, lost ballots, or technical glitches. You are leaving behind everything familiar, comfortable, and known, says Peggy Black. The old structure dissolves, and as it dissolves, chaos, anxiety, and even fear emerge. Those old timelines, relationships, and associations slowly fade away. The world as you know it will cease to exist. The belief that meekness means wakeness stems from a mistranslation and misinterpretation. The word meek describes a powerful yet controlled warrior who protects others with courageous leadership rather than passive submission. As deceptive systems are exposed, the humble with integrity and courage will be the ones to lead social renewal. Full thought summary. Polish intelligence services explains that doubles are needed for famous people because power in the matrix must be stable. When the system invests billions of dollars and decades in creating a politician, a president, a king, or a pop culture icon, it cannot afford for that pawn to suddenly die. What we are witnessing is a controlled matrix that is fracturing and using rival leaders to try to seize power. Russia demolished a satanic temple in Moscow and arrested its leaders after authorities dismantled an illegal occult complex that had long outraged local residents. The Committee of 300 was merely an advisory committee to the British monarchy and not the centre of Western power. That role remains in the Octagon Group in Switzerland, composed primarily of European royalty. Democracies talk about freedom of the press or speech freedom, but every newspaper has a financial owner, and if any reporter writes something the owner disapproves of, they are fired. For the first time in history, we are living in a kind of feudalism where 350 people own 75% of the global wealth, which in practice means the end of democratic systems. The UK has authorized the import of diesel and jet fuel produced from Russian oil. If so much money is being invested in artificial intelligence, why not invest a similar amount in natural intelligence? The truth is, we now have the genetic tools to turn people into immortal geniuses with superpowers. Instead of trying to become gods through machines, we should focus on living ethically and fulfilling our Creator's expectations in human terms. Warning: humanity was once before the internet existed, according to X-Spirit, between 1950s and 70s. Reports began to surface worldwide about contact with tall blonde beings claiming to be from the Pleiades, a star cluster in the constellation Taurus. Most unsettling is that many of these accounts were similar, even though the witnesses had no connection to each other and lived in different countries. Some contactees claimed that the Pleiadians spoke about humanity's future, control systems, dependence on technology, manipulation of perception through the media, and the loss of the ability to distinguish truth from constructed reality. And all of this was described long before social media algorithms. AI and the digital world we live in today. UFO archives also contain accounts from pilots and military personnel who reported seeing unusual objects near military bases and nuclear facilities. In several cases, witnesses described humanoid figures with an unnatural calmness and a focused gaze. Researchers claim that the Pleiadians are behind the phenomenon often referred to as the Watchers, beings who don't directly interfere but merely monitor the development of civilization. But the most unsettling question remains: why these accounts begin to surface just before humanity's technological leap? Was someone trying to warn humanity about the future that is now becoming a reality? And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.